Welcome to the sixth video of Pyspark tutorial playlist. Guys, in real time, we get data from multiple sources. So many times the data is incomplete. That means it contains null or missing values. So in this video, I'll be explaining how do we deal with missing values in real world using Google Colab. So let's get started. Welcome back to Google Colab. So for this video, I have already installed Pyspark and also initiated a Spark session. Guys, there are three ways to deal with missing values. The first thing is we try to drop column or drop rows or fill missing values with the mean, median or mode. Right now, let's read the data set and let's deal with the missing values. Now let's read the data set and also do dot show. We can close this window. On doing dot show, we got to know that there's only one row which has no null values. Other than that, second row has one, and third row has two, and fourth row has all the null values. So let's see how we deal with that. So the first option is, let's see how do we drop the column. For dropping column, we can use this particular syntax df dot drop, and we can mention the name of column. So if you see each column has three null values, so let's try to drop it, and we can do dot show. So here the age column has been dropped, but in real life, we usually don't try to drop the column. What we do is we try to drop rows which has a lot of null values or fill those missing values with mean, median or mode. So let's look at the other option, which is drop rows. For dropping rows, we can use df.na.drop. On doing that, we can see that okay, there's just one row which is left here. Why? Because so this df.na.drop command says that even if any row has one null value, it will be deleting or it will be dropping that row. So only our first row has non-null values, and that is why we here got only first row. Now let's look at the parameters of drop, because Pyspark gives us flexibility while dropping rows. Let's see how. df.na.drop, and instead of not giving any parameter, we will be giving some parameter to it. Let's see the parameters. So the first parameter is how, second is thresh, third is subset. On how, we can say that okay, it has two options, any and all. In how, if we choose any, then it will drop a row if it contains any null value. If the how value is all, then drop a row only if all its values are null. Let's see how it works. So it's saying that by default, the value of how parameter is any. So here we just got one row, but let's try to do it all here. On doing all, we see that there are four rows now. Why? Because this all command says that if any row has all the null values, then only it will be dropping that particular row. So that's how it will work. let's look at other parameters which were there. Let's take a threshold then. So let's take this thresh is equals to 2. So here if you see, we have got 3 rows only. Why? Because the threshold is equals to 2 says that if any particular row has non-null values less than 2, then it will be dropping that row. So let's go to our original data frame. So it has deleted this particular row and this row because it has non-null value less than 2. So it has been deleted. So let's look at one more parameter which was subset here. In subset, let's give the name of any column. Let's say income. So here if you see, it has dropped all the null values of income column. Wherever there was null in income, it has been deleted. So that's how you can play around with this particular parameters while dropping the rows. Now let's look at the third option, which was to fill the missing values. For filling the missing values, we have used df.fillna here, and let's see how it works. So if you see here in employee column, our null values has been replaced with fill the missing quote that we had given here. But in income and age column, the values are still null. Why? Because let's see why. Df.print. If you see here, employee column is a string and income and age columns are integer columns. So Pyspark is smart enough to understand that if here is a string, that means it will be affecting or it will be making changes to string column only. Now let's experiment with it. So instead of giving here string, we can give the value. Let's give any value. We can give any random value here. In so here income and age column, the null values has been replaced with 0. But income, but employee column, it still contain null values. So that's how it will work. But most of the time, we would be replacing the missing values with mean, median, or mode. Let's see how. Guys, there are 2 ways we can do it. I'll show you both. So the first way is by using functions library, and second way is using ml.feature library. Let's look at the first one. For that, we will need to install. So what we actually did here is we imported mean and then selected a column and then found the mean of income column. So the average or mean income that we got is 45,000. Let's save it in a variable and also use dot collect instead of that. So we use dot collect here and also saved it in a variable so that in that variable, the value that we would be getting would be in list format. If it is in a list format, we can simply use indexing. Let's see how. So here we got the list and let's use indexing to get 45,000 from here. So we have just one value, we can use 0 and let's use it again. So we have got 45,000 as a value here. Let's save it in a variable. Now we can simply use df.fill now and df mean Then we can simply mention the name of column where we want to use this fill now. So here in income column, the null values has been replaced with 45,000, which was our mean. Guys, you instead of mean, you could also use median or mode here. It will work perfectly. Now let's look at the second way, which is more generalized and easier way to do it by using imputer module. So for that, we can simply use this particular syntax where we are importing imputer, and with the help of this imputer function, we are giving income as our input column, and we will get imputed income. And the strategy we are using here is mean. Guys, you can change it to mean, median, or it will work perfectly fine. Now let's fit this into a data frame. For that, we can use imputer data frame. Let's save it in a variable. Once fit, we will need to transform it. So for that, we can use df imputer model dot, and let's save it in a variable. Now we can simply do dot show. On doing dot show, income column has been imputed and all the null values has been replaced with the mean values. Guys, there's one more thing. Instead of using this just one column, you can use multiple columns like age, and also you can mention it here. So here we got for age as well. And I told you already that we can also use median and mode here. So that's how you deal with missing values in real world data. To summarize it, I would say we learned three things here: drop columns, drop rows, or fill the missing values with mean, median, or mode. There is no hard and fast rule to which method is best to use because it mostly depends on the type of algorithm that you are using, the end result of your data analysis. I hope you learned a lot from this video. Thank you so much.